Hey guys, welcome to ReactCast. This is a new podcast that we're trying out. This is the first one. Probably going to be a bit rough, but yeah. So, guys, we're on a podcast.
We're on a podcast.
Yeah. So, what this podcast is going to be about is basically just meta commentary on all the shows that we're watching and maybe a little bit about what we do outside a little bit. I don't know. We haven't really figured out exactly how this is going to work. Yeah. But yeah, so I figured we could start out with a little bit of news or some information on something that we've been watching. One of which is Vinland Saga. So I remember back when we watched Vinland Saga, we didn't really know much about what it could be about because we've never seen an anime take on another mythos like that.
Yeah.
And then how grounded is it, how realistic it's going to be. But something I saw was the author, apparently he wanted to show a setting of extreme violence because he wanted to talk about how to confront without violence. That's what the point of Vinland Saga is about.
That is interesting. So that means our prince character guy, is kind of the commentary he's trying to make is probably through him because he talked about
super anti-violence guy.
Yeah, he talked about dirtying his hands in a way, didn't he? I'm trying to remember the show again.
Well, that was it, right? He had little to no combat actual experience, but he was confronting people without fighting them. He's fought his father through diplomacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he won Bjorn over through hug.
Through hug. Yes.
Yes. I think
jutsu.
And he had like his one encounter with violence when he had to kill Askeladd.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I probably should have said in the beginning, like, spoilers. So that's
all
that's
right.
like the big thing of the season.
You should probably like throw that up just before I say that.
Yeah. But yeah, for season 2, I know I've shown you guys the poster of season 2. He seems a bit older in the picture. I think we all came to that conclusion. Is there anything you're expecting out of Thorfinn? Any new? What would be season 2?
Well, he should be back home by now because he went back with Leaf at the end of the season.
At least we guessed that. Did they actually show him leaving?
I don't think so.
We saw him on the boat while Leaf was preparing stuff.
Yes, he was on. No, that he saw him on the boat before he went back to the hut. Because then he fought.
He was like being all mopey in the jail, and Leaf came to talk to him.
All right. Yeah.
And I think at that point he was like, yeah, sure, kind of going with him. But then something had him go back. I don't remember what his reason was.
He heard the fight break out in the main chief's hut.
No, that was after. The talking in the prison was after because he was super like without purpose now that the person he's been trying to kill for half of his life died. And then Leaf was like, "Come on, let's see the world like your dad used to talk about."
But he was in prison because before that he was walking through the street and bumped into that nobleman. Remember?
Yeah, he was like kind of loopy, and he bumped into this guy that he thought was Askeladd, and he was like, he ended up in a fight with some people.
He beat them all up.
Yeah,
and then the guards arrested him.
Right. That's how he ended up in jail. So he came out, and was after that he saw Askeladd die.
Yeah, because Leaf was trying to convince him to let go of his want for vengeance.
Right. And then this happened and kind of, I don't know.
I don't remember the linchpin for why he was willing to let it go. There's something that happened before that.
I think it was because Askeladd was like, you never actually tried.
Right, that was it. They dueled.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, you still suck.
Yeah. And he's basically putting his perspective on getting vengeance. Like Askeladd was able to carry out vengeance on his father because he was able to kind of hold his head down, so to speak, and just pretend.
100% focused on actually killing this man.
Yeah.
But he also wanted to take as much advantage of the position of when Askeladd was adopted by a nobleman.
Right, yeah, because I think he ended up like blaming on his brother or something.
Blaming the death of his father on one of the brothers.
Yeah.
And then basically the whole family collapsed. And I think he got some money and got out of there.
Yeah, he might still have some stepbrothers alive somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Probably.
There was at least 3 that we saw walking with him in a flashback.
Yeah.
And there's possibly more because we know that one of them didn't get along with the father.
Yeah.
Do you think that Askeladd like eventually took him out? I kind of feel like he would.
I thought he did, slowly and methodically. Evil hand wipe.
He would have had to get all the inheritance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember him saying that he secured his position to be able to get an inheritance before killing his father.
Yeah, his dad pseudo readopted him into the family, so
Right.
just having him be like a bastard outcast.
Right.
Yeah.
He was unnatural though,
Yeah.
unnatural with the blade.
Yeah, like from the start, he hadn't even touched a blade before, and he was able to hold out against his father for at least a minute.
At least the 1 minute, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of this show is a lineage and how violence begets violence, and I think a part of the way they show that is the sons of vicious killers tend to be vicious killers naturally, which is kind of what Thorfinn is insanely dangerous fighter naturally.
Yeah.
Askeladd more so though.
Yeah.
Askeladd was way more gifted. He was also older, but more gifted.
I don't know. Do you think that if Askeladd was more focused, not Askeladd, Thorfinn, if Thorfinn was more focused and not so like vengeance minded and narrow minded, not able to, I guess, think around the issue and maybe come up with a plan, like he was so narrow minded he wasn't able to like make something of himself to come to his goal. No, he's like, this is my goal. Because I wonder if Thorfinn isn't better than Askeladd if he had the mind of Askeladd. I wonder if he would be better because he's son of Thor's, who's supposedly the best.
Well, I don't know if it was Thorfinn being narrow-minded that he couldn't kill Askeladd. I think it was that he wasn't narrow-minded enough. Like he got so, like I guess, comfortable with his life. It's just kind of like what he wrote down in his head that he's doing this because he wants to kill Askeladd, but really he's just living life while being angry. But like he was never actually trying to kill Askeladd.
I'm gonna take the middle ground here because I think it might be a mix of the two. When in the beginning, Thorfinn was just a weak kid who he had just started out, and he's going up against Askeladd, who is an established, seasoned fighter, who also was younger at the time, right? But when he was fighting against him, he just got bodied immediately by Askeladd. And I think a little bit later, remember when he was fighting back at Askeladd's hometown, when all the girls were like swooning at him and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Then Askeladd pointed out that you're so angry, you no matter how much you train, it goes out the window the second you come to fight me.
Yeah.
So I think that was another mix. And then as time went on, it stopped being about the anger, and then it started to become that comfortable. It started to become that he doesn't really want to kill his new father figure, and that back of his mind is like nagging against him. So that. And it doesn't help that Askeladd's basically been training him through all these fights. He says he knows everything he's going to do because he's trained him how to fight through these duels.
This is true.
But the reverse was not true.
The reverse was not true.
No. Thorfinn knew nothing.
Yeah, and that old dog had a lot of tricks.
A lot.
Yeah, so for another show, though, unless you guys have something else you want to say about Vinland Saga.
No, I'm just excited to see what they're going to bring back for season 2.
Yeah. It wasn't our most popular show, but it was one of those shows that we could have a really good reaction to, I think.
Yeah.
When we were watching it, there were just so many philosophical topics and things that came up that you could read into the artistry and the background.
Yeah,
I
a
really
lot of
felt
good
that.
discussion.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan. How do you think the show's going to end?
Okay, I think it's going to happen with everybody dying. No, I'm kidding. I think Eren is definitely going to die. I don't see him living, quote unquote, living out the rest of his days peacefully. And I mean days because we're coming up on 13 years.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, he's got a time limit.
Do they just die at 13?
They start to deteriorate.
Oh.
Al was really gaunt.
Yeah, and he was gaunt and he was like throwing up blood. You don't remember that?
No.
He suppressed the memory.
Suppressed.
But yeah, he's got time limit, and then he found that out after he had already given Armin the Titan. So I think that is probably one of the driving forces for why he kind of went off the rails, because he just sentenced his best friend to death.
Yeah.
He saved him through giving him an extension, not a new lease on life.
Yeah.
So the owl, I feel like there's way more there than even the owl may realize, because when we saw his background, his family was royalty that came back to save their people. Remember, they were exiles. They were kicked out of the city, and then they ran away because they wanted to save their people on the mainland, and they helped with the resistance group. But eventually they got caught, He was hiding in the closet, and they were burned to death in front of him.
Oh, I don't remember that. How
Me
did I
neither.
forget that?
He was looking through the closets, and they're on fire. But I mean, listen to that, right? First of all, they're in a wooden house, and they burned them to death. Yes, the Marleyans are brutal. That seemed personal.
Yeah.
Like, what's with the... And also, he doesn't know necessarily what they wanted to do.
Oh yeah, he just kind of has this idea in his mind of what he wants to do, or even what the memories of the Titans that he's taken or had maybe has given him, because we know has been able to like talk about people in the future and all that, so maybe very connected to those thoughts.
I don't know if he has been able to, actually, because he talked about, what was it, Armin and Mikasa in Aaron's flashback of Owl talking to Aaron's father, but he was confused about what he was saying too. So we don't know if
This is something normal.
yeah, if this is something that all of them have experienced.
I'm just wondering, like, what if the royalty that was exiled, there's more to the story, because that king, remember, the king of the city is dead at this point.
Yeah.
What if they were trying to
The
do something
pirates.
that the owl, like, he got diverted and he just assumed this was supposed to be a revolution where we're killing all the Marlians? What if it had something to do with, like, Willie type or stuff like that? Also, I'm just wondering, like, what if... I hope we get to see more of his background. I think there's more there.
I think there's a lot that we still have to learn in this very, like, how many episodes are they giving
I
us
think
for this?
16.
16, yeah. I don't know. There's so much, like,
12, sorry.
12.
12.
That's even better. There's so much that we don't understand still. Like, I remember it took seasons before we started, that's what's happening.
That's what's going on.
You know? So, and I feel like they're still revealing stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
look at Zeke's reincarnation.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? Like, I mean, some of it is a throwback to what they've said before, and a lot of it is like, what?
Yeah. Another question that we still don't have is, how exactly does this mind link thing happen between the Titans? Because we know that both Eren and, what was his name? Not Colt. The other little kid. Falco. Yeah, Falco and Eren had quote unquote flashbacks to the future or to somebody else's life. Like Falco, he dreamt that he was flying, fighting Titans with swords, which is basically what the people on Paradis do all the time. But also Eren dreamed the destruction of the city right before it happened. We saw that like in the first episode of season 1.
We did.
Yeah.
So it's almost like predestination, because it's not like we can say that it's the Titan juice that's connecting them to this timeline thing or whatever. They had not yet ingested the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we know that Eren and Falco are related to the, what is it? The people, the top people, the related people.
The Royals?
The Royals.
Well,
Falco?
Eren isn't.
Wasn't it through his father?
No,
No.
it was through Zeke's mother. But Zeke's mother is not Eren's mother.
So who is Eren? Well, how is Eren's father connected? Just through Owl?
What?
What? No, Eren and Zeke share the same father.
Yes.
But
Right.
Zeke had a royal wife. And
Oh,
then
so
he
it
had
was
a
only
new-
the mother.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
He had a new wife.
Eren's
who
father
Eren.
had a royal wife.
Yeah.
And when did Eren have the flashback? It was before he got the Titan.
First episode.
First episode.
So that is really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, he woke up under a tree from a nightmare that the city was on fire.
Yeah.
I forgot that scene, but that is very strange that would happen if he's not like blood connected somehow. Like Falco makes sense.
No.
Falco is not related
royal
either?
He's just blonde.
What?
Whoa, careful there.
Sorry.
Something that's important to bring up is the very first episode. Do you remember the title of the first episode?
Oh,
No.
what was it?
1,000 Years to You.
I remember it was weird. 1,000 years to you.
What does that mean? All of this is just going to suddenly connect
It's
right at
like,
the last
"That-
episode.
that-
We've never looked at the names of the episodes, have we?
Yeah, some of them, but they stopped being cryptic at a certain point. I think like
Oh.
season 2, they started just being about the episode and stuff like that. But every once in a while, you get a title that doesn't really make sense. At the end of this, you just line Paul titles. Like, the first letter spells out a sentence.
L, do you know?
And my second question for Attack on Titan is, who do you think deserves to win in this world?
It's
Not necessarily like what. We've got the Marleyans, we've got the rest of the world, we've got the people on Paradise Island. Who deserves to win?
Marley is a softest dictatorship. We know this.
A softest?
Dictatorship. It's like they're not so overtly dictatorship that they're just like, well, actually, they might be, but nobody likes Marley because they're dictatorship. But at the same time, they give more freedom to the Eldians than it seems the rest of the world does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had one of the dignitaries straight up say in their country that it's a genocide. They kill all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why it's often used against the Eldians that you guys are lucky that we treat you like trash.
Yeah.
You wish if you had born somewhere else, you'd wish you were born here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we heard from one of the young kids when we had those couple of episodes on Marley, the one who looked like Berthold.
Yeah.
He was a refugee from one of the other countries. Like, this is actual paradise here. So
like, you have an army? Sure, I don't care.
yeah, but then they're just. Yeah, they're not gonna treat Paradise well if they win.
No.
The Eldians just can't win here.
No.
Because if they do win Paradise, the whole world is still looking to destroy them.
No, why would they not kill all of them then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The sole reason that they have not tried to wipe out Paradise is, one, they've got that massive army of Titans in the walls. But two, if they can't get through to them, right? So they're stuck there. So they keep theirs alive.
They're aliens,
because, if you kill all the aliens, all the Titans reincarnates the guys in a wall.
Yeah.
So they need to keep them, which is also something I was wondering about. Logically, yes, you hate the aliens because you can turn into giant monsters that eat people. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
But if you genocide all the aliens you have in your country, Marley just gets more. So doesn't that give them an advantage, which we have seen they use?
Yeah.
They use it to fight wars, and they're like the superpower of the world because they've got Titans on their side. Nobody can fight them. So I just don't get why others would be so willing to wipe out the race that has the potential of inheriting Titans.
Yeah, it's just the general instant hatred the rest of the world seems to have for the Eldians. Because it seems like there's like no holes barred. Absolutely everybody is allowed to just treat these people like trash. It's just...
Yeah. I think we talked about, like, we were wondering if it was possible that... We know that there was a whole ability for Ymir's, like, affect the entire Eldian race, but we're wondering if that happened to everyone else as well.
Yeah.
Because the hatred, it's beyond rationale.
Yeah.
How much they hate them.
Yeah.
So, other than that, though, for another show that we're watching, for Demon Slayer, what do you guys think of the season so far? Were you expecting this?
enjoying it. Yeah, the animation went back to normal. The last episode that we watched, less weird cartoony, out of characterness, but the fights have been really fun so far.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the fights as well. I think the whole premise of the show is so interesting. Like, at first I was like, demons? I don't know if I want to watch a show about demons. But the way they approached the like view of them at first, you just hate them.
Yeah.
They hate these demons, and then you encounter Tanjiro, who has this over the top empathy for things and even demons, and you're like, you start to think a little differently. And the way that the show is kind of bringing the different lore in the truths to come out, like the last episode, I don't know if it's going to be live by the time this is out, but where we see a flashback between Tanjiro and Warnabe. I don't know what her real name is.
Daki.
Daki? Okay.
You mean Tanjiro's ancestor?
Yeah, that flashback scene. And I really enjoyed like getting those little tidbits. It's like, oh my gosh, wow, it's really cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it's. I remember talking about season 1, saying how no breaks, it just keeps going forward.
Yeah.
It feels like that too in season 2, but it's managing to keep an air of mystery at the same time, instead of just, hey, you heard about this thing called the 12 Kizuki? Immediately fights 12 Kizuki.
Yeah.
And like, this is a wash shot, but now you know what they're like. And immediately fights a real one. Immediately gets killed. You know? Like, nonstop. But it still has had that background with the father and stuff like that. I think it's honestly, it might be a master class in how to do modern anime.
Yeah, I really love how it just keeps going. Once they introduce something that Tanjiro needs to go up against, it doesn't take the whole season for him to go up against it. He usually in regular anime you fight like one mini boss and then one big bad. We've gotten like 6 mini bosses.
Yeah.
And like
and they're all unique. They're all interesting.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Like, I agree with you that the pace of it is really amazing. It keeps you on the edge of your seat like constantly, and it doesn't take its time to get to the point. I liked that in the beginning. I think we talked about this at the very beginning where we just started and we're already facing.
Right. We were like
how
3 episodes in, and
we're
like,
facing a 50 eater. Like what?
Yeah, it's like this is happening so fast. And I don't know if it can keep up.
And we hit Muzan so fast. Yeah. I did not expect to see Muzan. Like I thought he was gonna be this mythical legend for a long time. And we already met him already, and we're meeting his like bests very quickly.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see it like a show like this and a show like Jujutsu Kaisen, where the big bad is in the main character, but also it's not a case of the bad guys off in the distance. It's like an arms race almost.
Yeah. Where
the one side's trying to get the fingers so they can move forward with their plans, but our side isn't weak. They beat the crap out of Mahito, right?
Yeah.
So it's like just back and forth, seeing two groups trying to outwit each other and using strategy against each other, and then with this show, with like you were saying, like non-stop back-to-back action.
Yeah.
But like classical anime, it used to be with something like Naruto, where it would immediately tell you what the bad guy is in like some weird plot, and then 100 episodes later you'll fight him. But in the background they'll make new plots and new subplots to fill the time to get there, and that's how anime and traditional storytelling usually is.
That's what I was gonna say. Normally stories are like that. They introduce the problem, but then you don't get to solve the problem till the very end.
Yeah.
Like I remember reading about Jane Austen's biography.
Oh yeah.
And the way she wrote stories was once she reached the what is it?
The ending.
Fixing the problem. Yeah. She didn't care about the rest of the story. Like she would sometimes be like, and they lived happy ever, whatever. Like she would like add a page after the problem was solved, and it's because the whole story was the journey. The whole story was the journey of getting to solve the problem. You don't get to solve the problem till the end.
Yes.
And that's how stories have been for a long time. So it's very interesting to see Demon Slayer kind of take a very, I don't know, it's still going to solve the problem, but you reach the problem. I don't know. You feel like you reached the problem already, and you're like, wait, no, we didn't fix it, and you got to do something else. So it's dealing with the same kind of storytelling, but in a different way that's satisfying.
Yeah, especially like if you look at like the format of the episodes, we finished like the season 1's quote unquote problem, which was Rui, which was the big bad. We finished him like 2 episodes before the season was over. Yeah. And then we went to Butterfly Mansion to kind of like tell you that the story is going to continue, right?
Yeah, even more than that, we met Rui 4 episodes before the season ended or something like that, and something crazy, right? And then before that, with the 12 kids gave the Arrow Demon and the Tamari Demon, that could have been a season ending right there too.
Yeah.
You get conclusions, you get fulfillment.
Like 6 big bads, yeah.
So after talking about that show, another new show we've got is Death Note.
Yeah.
What do you think of that so far?
He is insane.
As in Light, yeah.
Light is, he went off the deep end so quick.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 days? Not even 2 days. 2 days is like, I have power.
No, I think it was a week before the Shinigami came in.
Oh, yeah? Wait, we're up to episode 4, by the way, so far as time of this video.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm going to change my whole life to center around this thing that is going to make me a god.
Yes. He's amazing. Like, I think I mentioned it before in one of the episodes. Like, I thought they were trying to say that he's smart, you know? But then you bump into L and, like, see him display his amazingness. Yeah. And you think, there's no way Light can, like, hold off against this guy. Yeah. And then the last episode that happened that we watched, the bus scene, which you guys will see whenever that comes out.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. I was like,
He's
He's smart.
A tactician.
He genius.
Yeah.
He genius.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, I can see Light and L kind of facing off here. I can see this working.
Yeah.
I can see a fight. So it's very interesting. I think it was like, it was 2 days after he got the death note, he killed 2 people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was at first like really shaken, and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And he was like, no.
Yeah.
And then he took like 5 days to kill a lot of people.
All of the most
wanted that have been known.
the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, he was a ticking time bomb waiting for someone to light the fuse.
Basically.
Yeah. His immediate reaction was grief and shock and horror, but then he realized, wait, this is the chance I've always wanted. He was ready for this.
Yeah.
You know, in the back of his mind somewhere.
And again, the only reason he didn't kill somebody, one of the bullies he was looking at, was because he was quote unquote too close to him.
Yes. The one question that I don't know who, if you asked it or if I just volunteered this information, like, whose side are you on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know Rose is like appalled at my opinion, but I don't know, the way they write the show, it's just it's written so that you feel and understand Light, even if he makes no sense with his logic. His logic is logical,
Yeah.
but it's illogical at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
But he's just written in a way that you're like, yeah, okay, I want to see him carry this out. I want to see how far he goes. how is he gonna do this?
Let's see how far we can jump into that hole till we hit the bottom.
I mean, I think the big part of enjoying the show will be seeing the fight between Light and L.
Yeah.
You know, that's gonna be the draw of
And
it.
also how far Light gets to his perfect world.
Right.
Can it be actually made? Because his whole thing centers around he is black and white. There are good people and there are bad people.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll run out of bad people.
Right.
Yeah.
And deter those good who are being tempted by the bad.
Right.
Yeah.
But as you narrow it down, if you try, it's like trying to split something in two, right? It'll infinitely split in two.
Yeah.
You're never gonna eventually have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
But also, I think it was very important as I guess the author's perspective to show off Light with that bus scene, because L's deductive capabilities that they were showing up until that point it seemed like light years ahead of Light, right?
Yeah.
He had been playing Light for a fool. He made him with a Lindell Taylor thing on the TV. He needed to show that no, this isn't going to be a one-sided defense. No, Light can go on the offense.
Yeah.
And then he was showing what he was capable of right there. My next one for Death Note is, where are we going with this? I know you said that maybe he's just going to keep trying to make this world and stuff like that, but where do you see this show going? Like, where do we head?
I don't see it heading towards Light winning as much as I want to see how far he goes. I think this is all about the fight between Light and L. And it's going to be about who is going to outsmart who's going to be quicker than who's going to get the upper hand first. And I'm curious to know if Light will be able to keep up his current lifestyle and still fight L. Like, I wonder if he won't have to move or something.
Yeah.
You know, because L is already investigating the police.
Yeah.
It's not going to be long before he gets a clue with his father.
Yeah.
Somehow. Like, he's going to figure out somebody's information is being downloaded. I'm going to figure it out. I don't know. He's going to hack and see it because he has a lot of technology on his side. That Light... L has a lot of technology on his side that Light doesn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like there has to be some sort of movement in terms of where Light is. Like, I can't see them pulling this off with Light not going anywhere. Like, how is... What... Well, you know what? Light has shown me that he's smart. So they could do something crazy.
Well, it's... I would agree with you with this show can't end with Light winning because he set up himself for failure with the kind of goal that he has. Like you were saying, you can always split something in half and it's just gonna go infinitely. So say you get rid of all of the bad people. Well, now you just kind of have to go off of what's relatively bad because nobody's gonna be perfectly like you littered die. Basically.
Or something torturous happens to them with the whole sickness thing that he's talking about.
Yeah, that was one of the things he did, yeah.
He made coronavirus.
No!
I had some. Oh yeah, I was wondering about the moving out thing. Like that would make sense. One of my first things I'd be thinking about if I'm killing all these people is like getting an isolated base where nobody can figure out who I am. But at the same time, he's got access to police files through his dad, right?
Yeah.
So he really wants to keep that tether.
But I think it's also that he's like, it's like once you find that quote unquote secret base, like obviously this guy's suspicious.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you find light where he is now, you're still questioning whether or not he could actually be a bad guy.
That is also true.
Right.
So I think keeping up his current
appearances.
his current appearance might be a better cover.
They do say that about like psychopaths. Not psychopaths are criminals, but they tend to be criminals.
Yeah.
Usually, they'll try to find a way to blend in, which is why it's so difficult to catch them. Is they knowingly go out of their way to find like a nice house, a white picket fence, and whatever, because they know you would not look at that guy as a murderer.
Yeah.
He's got everything. Why would he do it? Yeah. And how? This is kind of a meta question. How have you guys been enjoying reacting so far?
It's been fun. I've enjoyed. I like having to quote unquote watch anime. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing this anyway.
Yeah. It's been really fun. For me, it's been fun, like watching the growth of the channel.
Yeah.
Like I like seeing some of the comments, like people, the random comments of people like, that Ohai is so precious, you know, where Rose starts the video with, and just like getting feedback from people and like having conversations. I don't know, something about like talking to people about a common subject.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, it's very enjoyable. Like I try not to read the comments too much because, especially if
I haven't proofread it
you
yet.
haven't proofread it yet.
Yeah.
And even then, like sometimes I don't want to get too caught up in the comments because you're gonna have trolls eventually.
Yeah.
So far, it's been really good. I don't know if
Really
you've been
nice.
deleting them or something.
In the beginning, I had to delete a few, mainly because if you don't have like a fan base or anything, just random people will comment usually.
Yeah.
More times than not, it's easier for someone who has a negative opinion to comment than someone who has a positive opinion.
That's true.
So we'll have like 100 likes and 1 dislike and then 1 comment and it's a negative comment. So I know who disliked. But it's easier.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how many videos each person like watches. How often do you comment? How often do you even like?
This is true. And usually, like, if I think about when I watch videos, if I really like a video, I don't comment. I'll just like.
Yeah.
The only time I comment is if I really like a video. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to say words.
Yeah.
Or if I don't like a video, I won't comment either. I would have to really not like a video.
Yeah, I don't
comment.
even dislike. I just leave the video.
Yeah, I don't dislike either.
I never disliked either. Though the weirdest thing is I was very upset when YouTube removed the dislike.
Yeah.
Because I found it as a really good medium to understand. Because usually I could tell why a video wasn't doing so well.
Yeah.
It's like maybe one opinion in the video. I know that one's controversial, and then you can see
In the dislike.
in the dislike the controversial opinion.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people. I was watching some videos. A lot of people say that they look at the dislike to like ratio first, and then watch the video to see. Like maybe why they got something wrong, or maybe it's a how-to video. They just skip the video entirely. But usually I watch the whole video first, and then I look at the ratio.
Me too.
Because I like to. It's like another comment section for me.
Exactly.
It's like I watch the video. I'm like, that didn't make sense. That was stupid. And then I look at the ratio. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I was right then.
Yeah.
And then I look at the comments, and everybody's going off about this one thing. I'm like, yeah.
I also would like to say, like, our comments are really, really good.
Yeah.
I've noticed smaller reaction channels, they tend to have like positive communities because once it's a small group, generally speaking, people want to be more helpful.
Yeah.
But we get some people who comment just to help boost us in the algorithm, and I mean I notice every one of you guys, so it's just really nice to see. It's really good, really good.
Yeah.
How did you guys expect the channel to do? Did you have expectations?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was expecting 5 years and then a comment. Seriously. Like, I did not think the first year would be almost 5,000. Like we hit 5,000 the beginning of 2022. We started at the end, like we can just say we started 2021 beginning because it was like December 20th or something.
December 20th was the first video.
Yeah. So we basically took a year to hit 5,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That I never saw that coming.
Yeah, like after we got monetized, I saw somebody, I think it was Ali Abdal, is another YouTuber, talking about when you can expect to get monetized. It was like, you can expect to get monetized, you know, after 2 years of creating videos consistently. I was like, we did it in like under 6 months. Under 3 months?
It was 3 months.
Oh, wow.
It was March that we applied for monetization.
Oh, wow.
March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a part of that is just reaction channels, because in general, I mean, I looked at a lot of other channels that had just started, and there's some of them that 1 year later they've got like 10,000 subs.
Yeah. Well, I guess continue.
I was just gonna say, but a big thing for them is a lot of the time they watch YouTube videos that are popular, and I mean, I considered it like watching things like Oversimplified, because you actually had a really good reaction to the beginning of an Oversimplified video, but I mean, personally, I just don't like watching other YouTubers' videos. It's not that I don't want other people to do it, because I do like watching other people react to Oversimplified. Yeah. It's just personally, I would like us not to. So that's one of the reasons. But I'm sure if we did, we'd get 250,000 views on that thing. Yeah. And that would give us a huge boost to subscribers. Right. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's kind of artificial because we're not primarily YouTube watchers. Right. We watch anime. And so then most of those guys who come in, they're like, okay, can you check out this other Oversimplified video? Can you check out this History Matters video? Yeah. And those are good videos. I enjoy those videos. But one, there's probably not a single video that they can suggest that I haven't seen. And two, I want stuff that you guys are interested in. Yeah. And three, I feel like it's almost kind of false advertising. We could have taken that, but again, because we're primarily watching anime, and I don't see our reaction portion of the videos as our contribution. Like, I think you guys are really good reactors, which is one of the main reasons why I really wanted us all to get in on it. Yeah. But I think our discussions are
golden.
I think they're really good. I really do. Yeah. I think they're way better than a lot of things I've used to watch. I watched reactors for years. There's only a couple of them that I'd ever actually recommend. But yeah, I think that's our contribution to the ethos. So
I've watched a lot less reaction videos than you. Usually I just kind of come upon them when I'm like, oh, I've seen that show before, and then we click. But I do notice that they don't. And from what I've heard from you is that sometimes it can get frustrating with maybe they don't understand something in the show where they don't know the lore behind it or something, and that's where you come in really you come in clutch because usually you know a lot more about the lore of this storyline and maybe what the writer originally intended, but then you went with this instead. Those are the kinds of things that I really like to hear about. I like to hear about, well, it could have been like this, but it didn't.
And what's funny is that role of being the person who watched ahead. Yeah. I have found it immensely helpful. I actually kind of feel weird when I'm in a blind with you guys. Yeah. Because I do want to be able to clarify things without spoiling, but there's really no way to get that from the comments, reliably. Thankfully, like, our Discord chats are really good. And that kind of thing, I think it's really valuable to have to conversations. And also, the reason this channel works, I think, is because, again, we were all watching anime before this. We would be doing this without the setup regardless. All this is we put a camera in front of us. And just remember you're on camera and just say what you feel. Because we are feeling it. We would have talked about this afterwards. Me and you sometimes would spend like hours talking about
just talking about it afterwards.
And I think we all bring something. Like, you are extremely emotive with your face.
It's really good.
And you're emotive too, but not as much. But you also have the background of having watched insane amounts of anime, so it helps you understand weird situations.
And anime tropes and stuff.
And I don't react that much, if I'm honest.
Not a lot. Not during the video. No. Not during the episode.
But I love talking about things that I think I notice, and like theories and philosophies and stuff like that. I love talking about that stuff, so I think we work well together.
Yeah, definitely.
I think for me, I really enjoy the discussion side of things as well. That's like probably my favorite part. I mean, watching the anime, of course, is fun, but like breaking it down, I love to like overthink things. I'm just like a type A like that. So taking notes. Like in beginning, I was terrible at taking notes. Like
Yeah.
I had to ask them for like tips.
Note taking tips.
How do you write things? I don't know. Yeah. And I finally got into a groove where I'm like, okay, that was an important point that just happened. Something interesting, different happened. Let me write that down. And just like jotting down, okay, this happened, and then it'll jog my memory in the discussion. And like, and we can talk about like we can go down rabbit holes sometimes. Like those are the most fun parts. So I really enjoy doing the discussions, and I'm really excited when people in the comments are like talking about things we said in the discussion. So it's like they're talking with us. It's really cool.
And we can't be mic'd up all the time, but a lot of the times there are comments that come up that we talk about off camera.
We came up with it off camera, and we're like, yeah, we know that.
And then a lot of theories that are just thrown out there.
You have had a couple theories that were correct.
Yeah.
But because you talked about them off camera, there's no way of proving that. You know?
It's so annoying.
That's one of the reasons that we kind of started doing after talks. Like at the beginning, it was by accident where we forgot to turn off the recording.
Is that somebody's phone?
Yeah, I think that's the reason we ended up with after talks is we forgot to turn off the audio, and we were just sitting there like we're talking about random things, and then we went back to the show for some reason. I was like, I can't believe this happened. I forgot to say this. And we just, because we do that, like even after the after talk, we're just on our own business, and we come back
talking more.
You know, Rose, I forgot about this thing. What do you think about this theory?
It's like, what about that one thing he said? That's kind of like that one thing from episode 1, minute 22. It's just kind of
so it's all time.
Yeah, so I think these discussions have been really, really great, and I'm really happy that people are enjoying them too.
Yeah.
It's funny, a part of being on camera, even though I've gotten used to it for a lot, it does, without the notes, it feels like you're almost being... No. Say something now. Now. And so because you're not in that relaxed state, there's a lot that you wanted to say that you just couldn't remember because you're not relaxed.
Yeah. We would definitely... I think the camera has affected our reactions a little bit because when we used to watch anime without the camera, we would be like jumping up and down.
Literally jumping.
And we'd be like, ah! Especially with like...
Haikyuu.
Oh my gosh. I love Haikyuu.
Haikyuu was so... We were so hyped
Literally
for Haikyuu.
Screaming.
We were at the top of our lungs. We were holding each other, jumping up and down.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was the one of the driving forces for...
That was like, we have to do a reaction.
Yeah, because there's like, I'm watching like a gold mine in terms of reactions and the conversations we have, and I'm just thinking, we could do better than some of the stuff I'm watching. And I know that sounds narcissistic, but I genuinely felt like we could do better than that. Yeah. And so put our stuff out there. And some of you guys liked it.
Yeah.
Other than that, kind of a wrap-up topic. Do you guys have any hobbies outside the channel that you guys enjoy?
I like a lot of things. It's
I'm sure you do.
What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. I'm very much a master of none. I like graphic design. I'm kind of thinking of getting back into like making clay stuff for like earrings and jewelry and stuff. Just started playing with resin to make like little trinkets and stuff. And I've also found that I like interior design.
You just found that?
Just?
I mean, I know I like planning things. I thought that was like an offshoot of planning things. I'm really into planning too. But yeah, I do like it. Interior design. It's like graphic design and planning come together.
Basically.
But in real life.
I've always been a great designer. Always.
Yeah. For me, I love drawing. I'm an artist, and I actually did a piece for the launch of our Patreon. So if you haven't seen that, you can check out the Falcon. I think it was the last couple episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier. We showed the picture that we gave to a bunch of patrons. I also really like. I'm like her, or I should say, she's like me because I'm older. I'm a jack of all trades as well. I love a lot of things. I think it's part of how we were raised, where mom
we just go 100% in on something.
Not even that. Like mom got us involved in a lot of different things, and she kind of encouraged us to try different things. I'm also into things like investing. I love math, so I study calculus for fun. I'm going into engineering in grad school. I like learning about finances and stuff like that, not just investing, but like how to grow money in general. So I don't know, financial literacy, so to speak. And like day trading, I'm really getting interested in. I don't have time to day trade, so I can't do it. And I'm also into science, so I'm studying A&P on the side because I never got to do that in college, and I wanted to do it. So
What's A&P?
oh, anatomy and physiology.
Oh, you're into it? Oh my goodness.
It's really interesting. I like learning in general.
Yeah.
I'm a language enthusiast. I speak like 4 languages. So
Yeah.
Can you list them?
English is my first language.
Surprise.
Spanish was for my second language. Chinese, Italian, and I started Japanese. I know a little bit. Skoshi hanashimasu. She knows more Japanese than me, actually.
Just from watching anime.
Just from watching anime. So
sad. I'm like reading Japanese titles now.
Like,
and I'm like, yeah, I don't need to.
Oh yeah, that's Japanese. I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you say you like learning. I think you are learning.
You are. I am learning.
It's like a comedy skit. Sometimes I've seen you. You'll be like on your computer working on something nonstop. You're like, ugh, and it'll take a break. It opens up Duolingo. You start learning Chinese.
This is my break time. It's actually a problem because it's like you're like, I'm taking a break. I'm like, you're on Pimsleur. Stop it. You're listening to a podcast about learning languages. Stop.
All right, fine. Opens up a tutorial how to draw.
Basically.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah, so for the first podcast, that we're coming up on 50 minutes. Yeah. That is pretty decent. Something I like to do, though, is if any of you are watching this and you want to ask a question or maybe get our input on, maybe you see an anime that we've seen and you want to talk about or ask about how did we react to a certain scene that was cut, ask about how the process goes, anything like that, any question at all. If it doesn't get brought in, don't take it personally. Sometimes I just don't think it fits in very well. But yeah, go ahead and put that in. And remember,
in the comments.
Yeah, and remember, if you're seeing this on public YouTube, it is far after this far after this podcast was made. So don't expect the next podcast to bring up something you said, because again, this is like, I don't know, it's going to be like weeks, if not a month after the fact.
Yeah.
So this is also very much behind the shows that we watched as well. So also remember that this podcast is available for immediate reaction, as in as soon as possible as getting it edited, if you're tier 3. So that's going to be the 2 things. Tier 3 gets the uncut versions of videos, but it also gets immediate watches on the podcast as soon as they're made. So yeah, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, you like your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Remember, comment anything about the discussion that you found interesting. And we'll see you guys next time in React City. Goodbye.